Ogeron was asked about the big game. On this particular Sunday morning, the big game was, of course, Super Bowl 52, scheduled for later in the evening between the Eagles and the Patriots. What game? A joking Ogeron boomed. We've got recruits in, we're recruiting. A group of high school prospects wrapped up weekend visits to LSU's campus on Super Bowl Sunday. It was an important day for coaches to send them and their families back home with smiles 3 days before Wednesday's traditional National Signing Day. There is important change from years past in the group. The visitors were 15 and 16-year-old high school sophomores whose signing days are 2 years away. Not, as has been custom, a collection of senior talent bidding one final, close the deal sales pitch. That's what January has become. It's become an opportunity to get a jump on the junior and sophomore classes, said Bards and Simmons, 247 Sports national recruiting reporter. We're going to see earlier offers, earlier commits and earlier official visits. Senior seasons are starting to mean less and less. The acceleration of college football recruiting moved into a new stratosphere this cycle, an unintended consequence of the new early signing period. Having filled much of their current signing classes in December, coaching staffs use open contact periods in January, previously relegated for last-second recruiting of high school seniors to welcome onto their campuses 2019 and 2020 recruits. LSU brought in 9 top 100 prospects in the 2019 class for unofficial visits on January 26 to 28, and the Tigers welcomed in at least 3 2020 recruits this past weekend. This is happening across college football, no matter the level, said Todd Berry, executive director of the American Football Coaches Association. Plus one Grant Gunnell, a 2019 quarterback prospect from Texas, poses with Coach Ed Ogeron during a visit to LSU last month. At Grant Gunnell 7, it gives you a chance to get ahead on next year's class. There's always work to be done, Southern coach Dawson Odom said. It makes it an easier transition for the next year. The early recruiting was only made possible because of the high number of prospects who signed in the first early signing period, December 20 to 22. According to ESPN recruiting analyst Tom Loganville, about 2,700 to 2,800 prospects sign in a typical year. During the early period, 2,003 high school players signed with Bell subdivision schools, Loganville said. That leaves about 700 players, with about half of those verbally committed. In short, don't expect Wednesday to be like any other signing day you've seen. The player pool has shrunk from a pool to a puddle, Loganville said during a teleconference earlier this week. The number of early signees exceeded projections from many recruiting experts and college football officials. Prospects signed at a high rate on all levels, Berry said. Signings were highest at the major college FBS programs, more than 70%, but only dipped to 68%, he said, in the football championship subdivision. Of the 2,000 signees, very close to around 900 prospects actually signed with Group of 5 programs, Loganville said, so the early signing period made an impact outside of the Power 5 conferences, as well. Many of the nation's top prospects did not wait until February. Nearly 75% of the players in 247 Sports Composite Top 200 signed. Of the 51 unsigned, 21 are committed. Just 13 of those players were committed to a school before the early period and chose not to sign. Those numbers can be deceiving. Several of those highly touted recruits were mid-year enrollees who began school in January. Still, the figures are significant among the highest-ranked teams. 8 of the top 15 teams in 247 Sports Composite ranking signed at least 19 prospects, including LSU's 21, the second most of any top 15 squad. Those top 15 teams signed an average of 17 players, or 70% of a 25-man class. The only thing I was surprised about was how eager they were to sign, said Mike Scarborough, publisher of RivalsTigerGate.com. Almost all of LSU's commitments were wanting to sign in the early period and be done with it. I thought maybe 2/3 would sign, but more signed. Only one player committed to the Tigers before the early period did not sign, Evangel safety Ardarius Washington. Among teams ranked in the top 15, 11 programs had at least one commitment not signed. Auburn and Oregon led the group with 5 uncommitted recruits who chose not to sign, all of whom remain pledged to that school. The Ducks' situation can be explained through a head coaching change. Coaching changes prevented many commitments from signing early. Take for instance Florida State. The Seminoles signed just 7 players but have 8 commitments. At Old Lafayette, the Ragin' Cajuns purposely did not sign a single player in the early period, a decision new coach Billy Napier made when he took the job just 5 days before the signing period began. "I would equate it to marrying a girl that you've never met before," Napier said about Cajuns' commitments potentially signing in December with a new coach. LSU has room for 4 signees in its 2018 class. As Wednesday approaches, here are the 6 targets to watch. Barry does not expect the high number of early signings in year 2. Players and coaches alike were scared not to do something